have no fundamental objection kung i-adjust natin ang VAT o kaya yung excise tax. Ang excise tax nga lamang ay mas komplikado. Ang VAT ay mas straightforward. So for a more simplified implementation, one can consider adjustment in the VAT, no? That's number one. Number two, dapat din nating malaman na ito ay dapat time-bound at hindi panghabang panahon, no?
Correct.
Kinakailangan time-bound yon and targeted. Sino ba ang makikinabang doon sa makukuhang, doon sa matitipid o sa maibababa ng mga tax na ito? Okay? Kinakailangan well-targeted and well-specified. Halimbawa, transport sector. Sila yung unang-unang tatamaan sa pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina. Pangalawa, yung pong ating mga farmers at ating mga fishermen, sapagkat sila yung gumagamit ng mga fertilizer, pesticides at gasolina mismo, lalong-lalo na doon sa ating mga mangingisda, no? So dapat maliwanag yung kung sino yung ating tutulungan. Ngayon, yung iba naman sinasabi nating highly disadvantaged at saka the poor among the poorest among the poor. Meron naman tayong 4Ps, no? Meron na tayong mga ayuda dyan. Siguro ang gagawin na lamang dyan, depende na rin sa masusing pag-aaral, ay magkaroon lang ng dagdag at iwasan din yung mga leakages, yung mga kinukupit, no? Kaya kanina sinasabi ni Edgar tungkol doon sa paggamit ng financial technology. Maiiwasan yun kung walang cash na ibibigay at ito ay pararatingin lang sa pamamagitan ng online na payment doon sa mga beneficiaries. So wala po tayong issue doon, Secretary. Number two, gusto ko ring linawin na totoo, itong mga ganitong adjustments sa taxes o kaya pag-grant ng mga tax subsidies, lower adjustments sa ating mga taxes, dapat ay samahan din ito ng una, Bangko Sentral. Ano dapat na monetary response ng BSP? Nag-meeting sila kahapon and they decided to keep interest rates. Well, in many of my columns, sinabi natin noon, last year pa dapat nag-pause ang BSP. Kasi nga napakarami nang nangyayari. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So kung nag-pause sila, kahit magtaas sila ngayon, hindi mabibigla ang merkado. Number two, yung tinatawag nating management of the foreign exchange. Totoo na sa panahon ngayon, ang ating foreign exchange system ay independent float. In other words, hands-off ang Bangko Sentral sa pagsasaayos ng foreign exchange. No? Pumapasok lang ang BSP kapag merong extreme or very serious volatility sa merkado. Ngunit ngayon, po pwede naman na magbigay ng kaunting intervention ng BSP because it's necessary, no, to make sure na yung 60 ay hindi umabot ng 61, 62, etc., etc. There's nothing so magical about 60, 61, or 62. Ang problema lang, dahil ito mismo yung sinabi ng ating Pangulo na dapat hindi lumagpas ng 60, ito ay nagkaroon ng psychological impact sa mga market players. Kapag umabot ng 60, maraming mga business players or business owners of business, no, ang gagawin niyan, mag-speculate na yan. O kaya mag-hedge na yan ng sobra. So the more pressure there will be doon po sa foreign exchange market. And the peso, instead of being more stable, could even weaken to the detriment of the common good. Tataas ang inflation, tataas ang presyo ng bilihin, sapagkat maraming imported products sa atin ay mamamahal dahil sa humihina naman ang ating piso.
Here is the counter-argument ni Governor Remolona, which is, this is a supply problem. Ang tools nila daw mostly work if it's a demand problem. Of course, they can dampen market appetite or they can increase it using the interest rates. The problem in this time is walang supply or maybe the supply is restricted. And then, of course, with the peso naman, sabi nila, there is a threshold that they're watching, pero right now, they don't want to have to defend it kasi hindi naman daw nga wild fluctuations.
Kaya hindi sila mag-i-intervene.
Well,
Hindi
that is
muna.
not exactly true, no? That's not exactly true. True na talagang ito ay supply problem. There is a tightening supply ng langis, ng dolyar sa ating bansa. Ngunit ang lahat ng mga yan, kapag pinagsama-sama natin, if we start connecting the dots, that will translate to what? One, price pressures. Number two, inflation expectations could be disanchored. It can be upset. Okay? And therefore, that becomes a demand problem. In fact, if you take a look at both the core inflation and the headline inflation, core inflation today is higher than the headline inflation. What does it show? It shows that demand pressure is already building up. So it is time for the BSP to act. Not only that, I think kahapon nung nag-meeting, may panibagong forecast ang BSP at ito sa aking pagkakaalam ay lumagpas ng 2 to 4%. So ano
Yes,
ibig sabihin
oo.
nun? Ibig sabihin nun, the BSP, it's time for the BSP to start considering tightening monetary policy. So it's not entirely true that this is completely a supply problem. No, demand pressures are already building up.
You're right. I think I heard could hit 5% by April.
Yes,
That's a projection.
and that
during,
is a signal that the monetary authority should start tightening monetary policy.
and during an emergency or a crisis like this, nagiging dominant yung psychology. Dahil
Correct.
ang economics naman is not purely rational. It is psychological.
It's behavioral.
It's behavioral.
Yeah.
It's about emotions.
In fact,
At ngayon,
one
sa
of the
crisis na ito,
factors
it's about
driving
emotions.
exchange rate movement is sentiment. Kapag ang mga tao walang tiwala o mahina ang tiwala, halimbawa sa gobyerno o kaya sa piso o kaya sa kakayahan ng mga nasa posisyon na mag-ayos ng ating kabuhayan, maaaring humina ang piso laban sa dolyar.
Sir, how worried are you about growth? Because even though this war ends tomorrow or a week from now or whenever, of course may mga
Long-term repercussions.
long-term repercussions itong war na to in terms of the supply, in terms of the prices. Mababa na nga tayo eh. We hit 4.4.
Even before the crisis.
Yes, we hit 4.4 yesterday.
Pababa na
Yeah.
yung
We
ating-
started the Marcos administration at, was it 6? In the line of 6%. And we hit 4 last year. And then now this war. How worried about you about our growth prospects?
Well, I have been worried about growth since the other year.
So mas lalo
Why?
na ngayon.
There are telltale signs. One, our total factor productivity. Ito yung productivity, no, ng iba't ibang factors of production, land, labor, no, at mismong capital. So kapag ganyan ay bumababa, ang ibig sabihin niyan, yung kaninang sinasabi na there's got to be a reset in our production. We need to be more efficient. We need to be more productive. This is not happening, no? This is not happening. In fact, we can address the issue of productivity by way of introducing innovations, use of AI, machine learning mechanisms, etc., etc. This is not happening. Efficiency of government, efficiency of the private sector and the rest of the business community. Kung makikita natin yung I-Core, no? I talked about this, Regina, dun sa ating mga previous
Yeah, I know.
Bloomberg interviews,
Yeah.
no? Yung incremental capital output ratio. Tumataas yan. So pag tumataas yan, ibig sabihin, sa halip na 1 unit lang ng kapital, ang iyong dapat na gamitin to produce 1 unit of output, you have to use 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Tumataas yan. So we are getting to be less productive and getting to be less efficient. So that's one. Number two, yung tinatawag nating investment, ano? Ang investment sa infrastructure, investment in human capital, that can go a long way to establish a longer trend of stronger momentum of economic growth. That is not happening. If you take a look at the last quarter of the year, 2026, makikita natin doon, bumagsak ang investment, no? from 7.7 to I think 2.1, minus 2.1. Ang laking bagay nun. Kasi ito yung nagbibigay ng mga factories, naglalatag ng mga tulay at ng mga karsada, ng mga dams, etc., to make sure that we have the wherewithals, that we have the resources to fund and finance economic growth. That's not happening. In fact, nagne-negative pa yung growth ng investment. And of course, human capital. Alam natin ang result noong huling pagtatasa ng ating mga senior high school students. We are at the bottom. We are at the bottom sa mathematics, sa science, and reading. And we are also behind in terms of creative thinking. So 30 years from now, what kind of leaders can we expect? Barely literate in science, math, and arithmetic, and incapable perhaps of creative thinking. So ano nga asahan natin 20 to 30 years from now? That is a sad
Ngayon pa
reality.
lang, Mr. Cuniconto, barely literate na eh.